Joining me now with more on the government's new educational safety net, Jonathan Davis, head of the Raphael Recanati International School at IDC Herzliya. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you, Aaron. Great to be on.
It's our pleasure. So how many students are currently getting financial aid or have been qualifying for financial aid up until now?
Well, it depends on the university or college.
At IDC, I'm sorry.
At IDC itself, there are at least 1,000 students who are on scholarship right now, who have applied for socioeconomic based scholarships. So approximately 16% of our student body.
Wow. And how many of them have lost their aid or any grant money as a consequence of the recent lockdowns? For example, students with certain volunteering obligations with the elderly, et cetera, that could not be met. They couldn't meet those obligations. Many of them lost or had to fight to keep their grants.
You're 100% right. And we have to go into a different kind of area code here and look at the students in a different way. They're facing all kinds of challenges. They've been fired from many of the part-time jobs which they've had. And we have to be extremely sensitive. I take my hats off, by the way, to the students who are not only facing the challenge, the socioeconomic challenge, they're also facing the challenge of distance learning as a result of the situation right now in Israel. It's tantamount on the part of all of us to be extremely sensitized to the needs of students on a socioeconomic basis. And you mentioned that the government of Israel is going to be assisting. I think it's critical that the government of Israel assists the various students at universities and colleges based on their real need, and that it filters down to the right people. Because we had heard about unemployment and the government doling out funds to unemployed, and it wasn't always getting to the right places at the right time and in the most efficient manner. So I really hope they've done the lessons learned and that the needy students will get the assistance they actually need.
Well, so that being said, with that in mind, what was done up until now, at least from IDF's perspective, to help some of these students or former lone soldiers or olim chadashim, et cetera?
Well, actually, the lone soldiers are in great need. I find that at IDC we have 300 former lone soldiers. Many of them have socioeconomic needs. I'm sure all of the rest of the universities and colleges in Israel also have these needs. The governmental assistance and assistance of other organizations for lone soldiers has not really been enough. We found that we have to beef up as much as possible our assistance for lone soldiers. They have needs above and beyond a regular soldier who is released. They don't have their parents in the country. They need to be assisted. I can tell you that for me, it's a very personal thing, because I myself was once a lone soldier in the paratroopers, and it's one of my favorite things to try and do is assist lone soldiers.
Yeah, especially because as you've already mentioned or hinted at, many of the lone soldiers, of course, don't have a support network or locally or a family to help them financially. So will this new plan address these major issues that we've been discussing, that you've been hit with?
In my personal view, Aaron, the proof is in the pudding. First of all, we need to see how the government manages to distribute these funds so that they go down into each specific university and college, and each student who is really needy gets those funds and gets those funds as soon as possible. And unfortunately, frequently when you have governmental bodies dealing with personalized situations, it doesn't always work. I'm trying to look at the half a cup that's full.
Of course.
And I'm really, really hoping that there's going to be some sort of a mechanism here that ensures all of those people, Aaron, that you know and I know who need that assistance, that they're going to be able to gain that assistance.
All right, Jonathan Davis, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to have you back when we have a little bit more results to speak on. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.